Somalia. Still large in the memories of many Americans is the Black Hawk Down incident in Mogadishu in 1993, in which 18 Americans died. Most don't know that since that time, and for over 20 years, Somalia has been without a functional government, longer than any other country today. Ongoing warfare between Christian Ethiopia and Islam in Somalia, and between sects of Islam itself, supported by proxies outside the country, including the U.S., have reared 2 generations of militias, child soldiers whose fathers were child soldiers. Culture and tradition severed. Education lost. For lack of protection, international aid workers left the country. Rampant food shortages became the warlords' weapon of choice. Water cost $10 a barrel, an unimaginable sum for Somalis. Ill-timed rains and droughts decimated herds, leading to wholesale famine. Along the Afguya Road, just west of Mogadishu, one woman, a single mother with 2 daughters, set up a small health clinic on her family's ancestral farmland. She'd been raised to believe in herself, educated, and trained in medicine on a Soviet-era scholarship in the Ukraine. Returning home, she became Somalia's first female gynecologist. Her name was Dr. Hawa Abdi. Her clinic grew to a hospital, then swelled to a camp for internally displaced persons, which described most of Somalia's population. When demand grew, she sold her family's savings in gold to support it. Yet the famine overwhelmed them. Dr. Hawa would help to bury each of its 10,078 victims in a mound within the camp's borders. Before long, 90,000 people, a full 1% of the entire population, lived in Hawa Abdi village. She and her daughters saw 500 patients per day. Compared to the surrounding chaos, the camp was a haven and an affront to the Islamist militias. The day arrived when youths brandishing AK-47s demanded control of the hospital and camp from the women. Dr. Hawa confronted them. "Kill me first, before you kill my patients. I may be a woman, but I have worked for this country for 20 years. What have you done?" The next day, 750 gunmen surrounded the camp and held Dr. Hawa captive in her house. When refugee women by the thousands rose to protect her, the militia stood down. If Somalia is a stateless pawn of other powers, Hawa Abdi village today radiates a state-like will to self-sufficiency. In 4 areas, Dr. Hawa and her daughters Dika and Amina work to build a microcosm of the promised society. The camp is rethinking agriculture organically, with companionable crops aimed at producing a steady local food source to meet the challenge of climate change. It is weaning itself off of diesel generators and engineering solar alternatives to power the entire camp. And while keeping them running is a constant challenge, drilled wells provide clean water to Somalis at no cost. Predominantly women and children, the camp tolerates no spousal abuse, locking up offenders. The Wakaf Diblawe Primary School has begun educating what children it can, a first small step toward freeing the next generation from the cycle of violence to be capable citizens of a post-war state. And the hospital still brings crucial health care to all, regardless of clan, saving lives and bringing new ones into the world. Even so, the camp's 15,000 children remain vulnerable to famine and the diseases it brings. The mortality rate has been slowed, not stopped. Against brutality and the world's indifference, Hawa Abdi village endures. As Mama Hawa affirms, women can build stability. We can make peace.